Finally, back in the skies, the developing story out of Chicago. Planes are now finally taking off. This after fire activity forces a ground stop at O'Hare and Midway airports, leaving thousands of travelers stranded.
Yeah, here's a look at the chaotic scene. Just minutes ago, the fire breaking out at a radar facility in Aurora, Illinois, just a suburb of Chicago. Reports say a man with self-inflicted wounds was found in the basement. That prompted the Federal Aviation Administration to say all planes on the in the United States destined to cross the Midwest would not be allowed to depart until 10 a.m.
And that meant hours and hours of delays. And we've already heard the latest that some of those won't be taking off until 7 o'clock. Airports around the nation feeling the impacts. This as many are trying to get out and get home for the weekend. A weekend that's on deck to be a great one and certainly possibly a last taste of summer for millions. You are watching Weather Center live right now on the Weather Channel.
Thank you so much for joining us for Weather Center Live. I'm Vivian Brown.
And I'm Jennifer Delgado. We want to get right to the latest information on all that's going on, all this chaos across parts of Chicago. We bring in our Julie Morton. She joins us now. And you're from the Chicago area.
Yeah.
And hopefully you have some perspective about, the layout and the airports and this radar facility of Aurora that we're talking about where that fire was.
Absolutely. What's interesting, Aurora, about 45 minutes from O'Hare, about an hour from Midway Airport. So you might think, well, why is this happening? Why are more than 1,000 flights canceled? Well, we do have some of those flights now starting to resume. The ground stop is lifted. As we mentioned, though, one person with self-inflicted wounds discovered in the basement and fire breaking out about 5:40 Central Time. I want to bring in now David Susi. He's a former FAA executive and pilot. He also wrote the book, Why Planes Crash. And David, maybe you can answer that question. You have this facility that is well off-site from the airports. Why all of this mayhem?
Well, this is a terminal radar approach control facility, the TRACON. What that does is control literally every aircraft that goes through the middle of the country up there in the north towards Chicago. So there's a huge hole right now. The aircraft are being diverted. The biggest concern of mine at this point right now is not only the fact that the inconvenience of the flights changing, but when this happens, the aircraft are routed through different areas of the airspace and are very close together, and there's a high risk of near collisions and near mid-air collisions and things like that. So the air traffic control facilities are just doing everything they can to maintain that space and to maintain the other areas, but the air traffic right now is incredibly full and is in a very precarious position right now.
And obviously, David, the ripple effect. We're not just talking about Chicago here. We understand some flights are starting to come in now from the Midwest, places like Detroit and Indianapolis. But when we're looking at East Coast cities, a lot of people trying to get to New York, to D.C., to Philly. Talk about just how long can some of those planes stay in the air and the backlog all of this could cause.
Well, every aircraft that takes off and with an intended destination has to have an alternate destination. And those alternate destinations, they have enough fuel to get to those alternate destinations. So they are being rerouted. But what that does is it overcrowds other airports, and those other airports are going to experience delays as well. So the ripple effect from this can take days to recover from. There could be people stranded for days, literally, waiting to get back to their destinations.
And that brings up the issue, what about passenger rights? Do they have any rights in this type of situation, which is fairly unprecedented?
Well, it is unprecedented, and the passenger rights, of course, are of most concern for the airlines and for the FAA. However, in this scenario, safety takes precedence over anyone's rights, and so the passengers need to just stay calm and stay relaxed and just accept the fact that this has happened and not get upset about it, because it just doesn't do any good at this point.
David, I can't help but compare this to a blizzard or a snowstorm hitting Chicago's O'Hare or Midway. And we see this happen almost every winter. People sleeping on cots, people getting stranded. How is this different, though? It seems like they can undo those backlogs relatively quickly, whereas in this case, they may not be able to.
That's exactly right. Typically, a storm like that will take out a particular airport or delays in a particular airport as they try to clear the runways and that sort of thing. This is incredibly different than that because of the fact that it includes literally every aircraft that even might be flying over the area or around the area. So this is much more impactful than even any weather storm has ever been.
And David, we understand some of the flights are now starting to arrive at a lower elevation level. What does that mean, and why would that be happening?
Well, because the TRACON facility maintains a certain airspace area, and it's a conical shape that goes up, and it gets bigger as it goes up. So as you fly lower, there's clear areas that you can fly in that aren't in that controlled airspace. So airplanes can fly lower and around and avoid being into this TRACON area. So what happens is, as I mentioned before, as aircraft fly over the area, they have to be involved with the TRACON. But if they fly under that control area for the TRACON and never enter that particular airspace that's controlled, then they can get through in that manner.
Okay, very interesting insight. David Susi, a former FAA executive and pilot, we hope to check back with you as this story continues to unfold in Chicago, where more than 1,000 flights canceled this morning, and it could be days, they are saying, before some people can reach their final destinations. There you see Flight Tracker, very few flights in the vicinity of Chicagoland, either at Midway or O'Hare, and for very good reason. As David was mentioning, they want to keep that space clear as they are still dealing with this FAA fire situation and the backlog that is ensuing as thousands of people are now stranded there. And there you see the pictures inside O'Hare International Airport. Over to you, ladies.
Thanks very much. Thank you very much. And we will continue to bring you the very latest on the developing stories coming out of Chicago. We do know now that O'Hare, of course, reclaimed its title as the busiest airport out there. So certainly this is having a ripple effect out there. We just showed you the radar tracker. You saw basically 2 flights going out. There are starting to see some of those flights resuming, but the problem is we have reportedly 1,100 flights have already been canceled. And if you're wondering the proximity of this Aurora radar site, it's roughly about 40 miles away from O'Hare, and it looks like about 50 away from Midway.
And we want you to stay here with us on the Weather Channel, because this was not weather related, but definitely our big story of the day, and we'll keep you updated as soon as we return. Stay with us.
This is the year to leave the ordinary behind and keep the promises you made to yourself. Take a leap of faith and have a little adventure. Stop dreaming and start doing. This is the year, and Alaska is the place. Begin your adventure at AlaskaBeyondYourDreams.com.
Visit AlaskaBeyondYourDreams.com for your free official Alaska State Vacation Planner.
Hey, how was work?
Great.
Just cut it down.
What's the status?
Network's up 100%.
Hi, how was your weekend?
It was great.
In the Army Reserve, all it takes is 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks a year to get the skills, training, and strength of being in the Army.
The Voice is America's #1 singing competition. Critics agree. Stefani and Williams got great chemistry and are the perfect fit. This season's gonna be the best one yet.
I can't see you. I got some good news for you, man. We all turned around. Oh, shit!
The Voice is all new Monday and Tuesday, 8, 7 Central, followed by a new Blacklist on NBC.
Currently in our area, 78 degrees under cloudy skies. Today, variable clouds with scattered thunderstorms. High 85. Chance of rain 40%. Tonight, thunderstorms early. Low 78. Chance of rain 40%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Weather ever caught on camera. Oh my God. Tonight, tomorrow night, every weeknight, wild weather at 8 on the Weather Channel.
Some people think vegetables are boring. But with Green Giant's delicious seasonings and blends, we just may change their minds. Ho, ho, ho.
Green Giant. Americans drink 48 billion bottles of water every year. That's enough plastic bottles to stretch around the Earth 230 times. Each Brita filter can replace 300 of those. Clean, clear Brita water. Nothing is better.
Lowe's presents How to Work Out the Triceps.
Wow. Impress your guests. Delise Vanity, now just $229 at Lowe's.
So you're saying you're going to give me my credit score for free, right? And then you're going to ask me for my credit card so you can charge me on the down low. 2 weeks later, look, Credit Karma.
Oh, are you talking to websites again?
It's saying free credit score.
Credit Karma? Yeah, it's actually free. Look, you don't have to put in your credit card information. Credit Karma. Really free credit scores. Really free.
Fist bump.
We don't have the names.
We're continuing to follow developing news this hour out of Chicago.
Yeah, that's right. An FAA control center at a suburban Chicago air traffic control facility where they are reportedly trying to figure out what's going on with this fire that reportedly happened at the radar facility in Aurora. Right now, we want to go to Tom Costello. And he is in Washington, D.C., and he's going to talk to us a bit more and tell us, break down, what have you found out what's going on in this situation?
Good morning to both of you. First of all, Aurora police there in Aurora, Illinois, are saying that this fire was intentionally set by a contract employee. This matches reporting that we've done here at NBC News, suggesting that the fire was, in fact, intentionally set in the basement of the facility. This is not a radar facility per se. This is the high-altitude center, Chicago Center. They cover all of the airspace around the Illinois area, Chicago area, at high altitudes. And they help planes, for example, navigate from New York to Denver, across the Chicago airspace. It is a critical juncture and junction point, and we're told that there could be significant damage to this facility. As a result of that, they've gone to what's called ATC 0, Air Traffic Control 0, ground stops in effect at both O'Hare and at Midway. This means, by our count, we're now looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of 800 delayed and canceled flights at Chicago O'Hare and about 200 or so delayed and canceled flights at Midway. We are also told by the police that this does not appear to be an act of terrorism, that rather it is some sort of a criminal act. The FBI, ATF, and arson investigators are assisting the Aurora, Illinois Police Department. This all started at 5:42 a.m. when firefighters got a call of a report of a fire in the building. When they got there, they found an individual who they claim had self-inflicted wounds, not a gunshot wound, but some other sort of wound, perhaps a knife wound, and they also treated somebody there for smoke inhalation. They evacuated the building. 15 to 30 staffers inside this critical air traffic control facility evacuated, and that's when they had to put ground stops in effect. So this now is the busiest airport in the country, O'Hare, and you've got a situation where very, very little is moving. A trickle of flights, if they can stay at a certain low altitude until they get up to another TRACON facility or another radar facility, are being allowed to move. But for the most part, flights into and out of are not moving at Chicago. That includes international arrivals and departures with a few exceptions. This morning you saw that ANA flight, that All Nippon Airlines flight, come in from Japan, and you might imagine that it was at the end of its fuel load. But for the most part, they're trying to now divert flights to other airports or simply not allow them to either depart or land at Chicago O'Hare or Midway. And we don't know yet when this is going to lift. This could end up being a situation that lasts into the evening, and perhaps it may even take into the weekend to get this whole thing untangled, if you will. Guys, back to you.
And it is seriously a tangled web. Thanks very much, Tom Costello, of course, out of the D.C. area, giving us the very latest on this big fire in the Chicago area that has caused a ripple effect on the airports and the delays.
Yeah, that's right. And we're going to turn it over right now to actually Dave Malikoff. He's actually looking at the social impacts of the story. And I'm sure a lot of people are really on Twitter right now, Instagram right now, voicing and trying to find out when are we going to get out of here and what are you seeing on there?
Well, let's focus on O'Hare Airport, as Tom Costello just reported somewhere around 800 flights at that one airport, with Midway being about 200 flights delayed. That is incredible to see all those flights delayed or canceled at those airports. Let's take a look inside O'Hare International Airport, where you can see Catherine Darrow actually sent us this picture. She was going from Chicago to Philly and then to Orlando, and all that has been cut off. She is now stuck there overnight. According to United Airlines, they're telling her she has to stay in Chicago for that time period. Also, if you're at O'Hare Airport, you're in luck. There are hotels right there in the airport. So stay tuned right here on the Weather Channel. We will have the very latest coming up in just a bit, right after this.
TheraFlu starts to get to work in your body in just 5 minutes. TheraFlu breaks you free from your worst cold and flu symptoms. TheraFlu, serious power.
Sometimes the best used car on the road is the one you're still using. Right now, get $50 off a standard brake service, including a lifetime parts guarantee at Firestone Complete Auto Care. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
Yeah, I'm married. Does it matter? You do that for me? Really? Yeah, I'd like that.
Who are you talking to?
It's Jake from State Farm. Sounds like a really good deal.
Jake from State Farm at 3 in the morning? Who is this?
It's Jake from State Farm.
What are you wearing, Jake from State Farm?
Khakis.
She sounds hideous.
Well, she's a guy, so.
Another reason more people stay with State Farm. Get to a better state.
Embrace your inner athlete and share your team spirit with football gear for your pet at PetSmart. Now save 20% on NFL jerseys, collars, and leashes. Only at PetSmart.
Lowe's presents How to Make Your Guests Think They're at the Wrong House.
Told you we're in the wrong house.
Go. Mom!
Get 15% off in-stock Level blinds, plus have them cut to width for free.
According to the U.S. Department of Energy, most homes have air leaks and drafts that waste so much energy. It's like leaving a window open in your home all year long. Don't let another year go by. Call Champion Windows at 888-4CHAMPION. And if you call 888-4CHAMPION right now, Champion will give you $2,000 off a whole house of windows. Plus, Champion now offers no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. So call 888-4CHAMPION today, because every home needs a champion.
This week on America's Morning Headquarters, a bucket list destination is on the verge of vanishing. Which one of our national parks is literally evaporating? And we're looking forward to fall, what you can expect this season.
Abracadabra.
Hey, sweetie, what you doing?
Daddy said the water heater was magic.
Oh, really?
Because it can change you from a monster into a normal human being. I wanted to turn myself into a princess.
Hey, princess.
Families everywhere are feeling the love for their natural gas tankless water heaters. Find out why at naturalgaslove.com.
If you struggle with back pain, you have the power to turn it off with this.
New Smart Relief from Icy Hot. Turn on relaxing pulses that quickly block even chronic back pain. It's wireless, reusable, and easy to use.
Turn on Smart Relief and turn off pain.
For diarrhea, you take Kaopectate. But for heartburn, gas, indigestion, upset stomach, or nausea, you also take Kaopectate. Kaopectate caplets, like our liquid, relieve diarrhea and soothe your stomach for relief of all those symptoms. Kaopectate, one and done.
Looking for a new breed of broker? There's a name for people like you. Trade King. Switch today.
Weather Geeks, Sundays at noon on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 78 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Today, variable clouds with scattered thunderstorms. High 85. Chance of rain 40%. Tonight, thunderstorms early. Low 78. Chance of rain 40%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Of travelers stranded in Chicago right now after a fire at an air traffic control facility shut down flights this morning. The fire started in the basement, where authorities also found a man with self-inflicted wounds. Now, we don't know if these two incidents are related, but the fire caused complete stops and flights in and out of the Chicago area, the two airports, Midway and O'Hare, causing nearly 600 cancellations all across the country. Now, here's a look at the current flight delays in the nation. And again, you can see for Chicago right now, we have plenty of sunshine, so weather definitely not the cause of the delays that we have right now. Flights are slowly resuming, but many flights have already been canceled, and of course that is what has led to the ripple effect that we're having right now. But I do want you to know that weather-wise, all across the rest of the country, at least weather is not a factor. So once the flights do get going again in the Chicago area, weather will not be a problem anywhere else for the most part. Okay, here's a look at the forecast for the rest of the day. Chicago, we're expecting temperatures in the middle 70s. Absolutely perfect weather with mostly sunny conditions. In fact, we have our own Kevin Tibbles. He's in the Chicago area with more on the latest. Kevin.
Well, the numbers are just spellbinding, really. Some 1,000 flights now in the Chicago area, both here at O'Hare and at Midway, have been canceled today. I'm at the American Airlines terminal at O'Hare Airport. The lineups inside are absolute pandemonium here. More than 300 American flights have already been canceled today after this incident at an air traffic control center in nearby Aurora. Apparently, according to the police, a man in there who was hell-bent on committing suicide also started 3 fires inside that facility, which has essentially caused a lot of damage and is keeping the planes on the ground. We have just heard in the last few minutes from United Airlines and some of the others that they are slowly starting to take off, but planes are going to have to be flying at about 10,000 feet in order to get up to where the Minneapolis air traffic control can take over. No one knows how long this is going to last today, but it's going to be pandemonium for those traveling this weekend.
Which means this is a long story to be told. Thanks very much, Kevin, with the latest, of course, on the flight delays in Chicago because of the fire earlier this morning. Back to you, Jen.
All right, we're going to continue our coverage of that, but working in the wake of devastating hurricanes and tropical storm, the First Response Team of America has definitely faced some very harrowing moments, but for founder Tad Agolia, the risk is always worth the reward. Meteorologist Mike Bettis has more on this story.
In the 7 years the First Response Team of America has been helping communities hit hard by severe weather, its founder, Tad Agolia, has learned one invaluable lesson.
Every single storm is different, not only the size of the storm, but how it affects a community. There's always something memorable about each storm that just sticks with us.
Some of those memories have been forged performing rescue missions in raging winds and rampant floodwaters of tropical storms and hurricanes. The team is well aware that working in this hazardous mix of elements can be deadly.
So we're willing to be out there, to risk our lives, if we could save a life.
And that's what happened on 2 occasions in 2012. In June, rising floodwaters from Tropical Storm Debbie cut off homes in Live Oak, Florida, stranding a mother and her seriously sick baby. Evacuating on board the team's hovercraft to a waiting ambulance was a matter of life and death.
We need to get this young boy, get him in our hovercraft, and get into the ambulance so we can get to the hospital.
Launching a hovercraft into the darkness, into floodwaters that we can't even see ourselves, it's a very challenging situation.
These guys here will take care of you.
Being in moments like that really put life in perspective for me. you begin to realize and remember just how fragile life can be.
4 months later, as Superstorm Sandy raged on Long Island, the team deployed to escort an ambulance carrying a young woman in labor to the hospital through debris-littered streets.
Every time this ambulance hits a roadblock, we're going to pull our saws out and cut a way through. As soon as we were able to help the mother in labor get to the hospital, it wasn't shortly thereafter that she gave birth to a beautiful boy.
You have no idea what a relief this was, knowing that you guys were with us the whole way.
While emotionally rewarding, such moments have provided the team with something more important than sentimental memories.
The experiences that we've had make us better and make us able to respond to the next disaster and help a community in a significant way.
And to learn more about Tattaglia and the First Response Team of America, go to weather.com/responders. And we are going to continue our coverage of the ongoing traffic.
This program powered by Ram Trucks. Guts, glory, Ram.
The powerful and efficient 5.7-liter ME V8 with 22 highway miles per gallon and 395 horsepower.
Come with me now. Come with me now. Come with me now.
How far you take it is entirely up to you. Guts, glory, Ram.
Go with me now.
On my journey across America, I've learned that when you ask someone in Texas if they want big savings on car insurance, it's a bit like asking if they want a big hat. Excuse me. Or a big steak. Or big hair. I think we have our answer.
If I could separate what's real from what happened, another day.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Okay, Patrick, one more stop. Let's go base, shark, blitz. Base, shark, blitz.
When the game's on the line.
Okay, this is for the game.
The NFL trusts Duracell Quantum to power their game day communication.
Abort, he's keeping it.
Duracell Quantum lasts up to 35% longer than the competition.
Discover Card. Hey, I heard you guys can help me with fraud protection.
Yeah, we help with fraud protection.
We monitor every purchase every day and alert you if anything
Looks unusual.
Wow. You're really looking out for us. We are.
And if there are unauthorized purchases on your Discover Card, you're never held responsible.
Just to be clear, you are saying frog protection, right?
Yeah, fraud protection.
Frog protection.
Fraud protection.
Frog.
Fraud.
Frog.
Fraud.
I think we're on the same page.
We're totally on the same page.
At Discover, we treat you like you'd treat you. Fraud protection. Get it at discover.com.
Maybe you didn't know, people with the flu can spread it up to 6 feet away. Or that flu can make chronic conditions worse. Or that experts say anyone who lives or works with infants should be vaccinated. Maybe you didn't know all the stuff your Rite Aid pharmacist knew the whole time. But maybe, since you already went and got your flu shot at Rite Aid without hassle or appointment, maybe you didn't need to know any of that. Rite Aid. With us, it's personal.
Presenting luxurious savings at Ace.
What?
Save $7 instantly now through Sunday on gallons of Valspar Optimus, our most premium paint.
Ace is a place to help the hardware folks.
The Voice is America's #1 singing competition. Critics agree. Stefani and Williams got great chemistry and are the perfect fit. This season's gonna be the best one yet.
Can't see you. I got some good news for you, man. We all turned around. Oh, shit!
The Voice is all new Monday and Tuesday, 8, 7 Central, followed by a new Blacklist on NBC.
Currently in our area, 78 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Today, variable clouds with scattered thunderstorms. High 85. Chance of rain 40%. Tonight, thunderstorms early, low 78. Chance of rain 40%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Every Sunday, a new tale of weather legend. American Supernatural, premiering October 5th on the Weather Channel.
Well, back in the skies, at least a few of these planes are. A developing story out of Chicago. Planes are now taking off. This after fire activity forces a ground stop at O'Hare and Midway airports, stranding thousands of travelers out there.
I know. Take a look at the chaotic scene. Just hours ago, the fire breaking out at an air facility in Chicago, a radar facility in Chicago, in Aurora, Illinois. Reports say a man with self-inflicted wounds was found in the basement. That prompted the Federal Aviation Administration to say all planes in the United States destined to cross the Midwest would not be allowed to depart until 10 a.m.
And that meant hours of delays in airports around the nation feeling the impacts, and they're going to continue to do so. This as many are trying to get out or get home for the weekend. Yeah. A weekend on deck that looks to be pretty nice for many people. Keep in mind, it's the first full weekend of fall, and of course we'll continue to track that. But right now you're watching Weather Center Live on the Weather Channel.
And we thank you so much for joining us on Weather Center Live. I'm Vivian Brown.
And I'm Jennifer Delgado. I want to get right to the very latest with this flight information. And for that, we're going to bring in our own Julie Martin. She joins us now. And Julie, you are from the Chicago area and you have insight. You know the area, you know Chicago and Midway and how crazy this can be. Tell us what you're finding out about this and what's going on at the Aurora facility, how it's causing this ripple effect.
Yeah, what's interesting is when you look at the geography, Aurora, nowhere near Chicago's O'Hare or Midway. We're talking about 40 miles away from O'Hare, 50 or so miles from Midway. So you might wonder, I mean, why is this happening? Why this big backlog? A suspicious fire, as you mentioned, in the FAA facility this morning. 1,119 cancellations and counting. What the real issue is here is that space above the airports. Right now, those planes not allowed to go above 10,000 feet. So as you can imagine, most planes cannot land at O'Hare or Midway, and those that can take off, well, those are few and far between as well. For some more perspective on this, though, I want to bring in now Ricky Bell. He's a former FAA employee. Ricky, I know you worked in D.C. Your last position, you were a traffic management officer. No one perhaps knows the situation better than you when it comes to the delicate dance that has to play out here among these particular TRACONs. First of all, TRACON, no one knows what that means who's watching out there. What is the TRACON facility where the fire occurred?
Okay, the fire did not occur at the TRACON. The TRACON stands for Terminal Radar Approach Control. That's what TRACON means. The fire occurred at the En route control center. There are 20 of those throughout the nation, and that oversees the TRACON's airspace, and that's where the problem is. When that fire occurred, they didn't let any airplanes within Chicago Center's airspace. It has taken some time, but now the TRACONs have come together around Chicago Midway and Chicago O'Hare to work these airplanes in. That's why you see airplanes departing and airplanes arriving. They are working low level. As I told Sam earlier, they are working low level. They're staying below the center's airspace. So they are working airplanes in and out. They're en route traffic.
And so, Ricky, the TRACONs, though, they're all going to have to work together. There are 22 of those across the country, so they're the ones that will be handling now the flow in and out of Chicago, correct?
No.
No.
You're confusing the TRACONs with the centers.
Okay.
There are 22 centers around the country. There are plenty of TRACONs. There's a TRACON associated with every airport, and there are thousands of airports throughout the center. The airports that are working with the Chicago TRACON, Grand Rapids, Rockford, those close-in airports.
Okay. Now, what's likely to happen first in terms of people getting out? Will those southern routes open first?
Well, they are all opening up. The problem is you only have a couple routes that the airplanes can go in and out of, and a lot of those are head-on, so they're working out mile and trail restrictions to make sure the airplanes do not conflict with each other. The controllers are doing a tremendous job at working these out, and you will see airplanes going south first and to the west and to the east. They're getting out in all directions now, but it is very slow because you're working with mile and trail restrictions, which are requiring the tower to ensure that airplanes going in the same direction stay within 30 or 40 miles from each other.
So passengers en route to places like Atlanta, Florida will likely be getting out perhaps before some of those headed east or westbound. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that they all will be getting out. They will just be getting out in different directions at different times.
Okay. Okay. Now, one more question, though, Ricky. The weather situation. Clear weather across the country, obviously, I would think that would be helpful.
That is correct. Clear weather across the country would be helpful. However, we do have a situation that we had a problem in Detroit, but Detroit has opened up and cleared up now. So the clear weather throughout the country will help the situation. It will not prevent airplanes from the Chicago airports from departing to go to those.
Yeah, one less problem to add to the mix. Ricky Bellwood, the FAA, former FAA traffic management officer, thank you so much for your perspective. Ricky, obviously breaking down some of the minutia in all of this.
Very confusing.
Which, you know, you see these words thrown around, and I think most people would think, well, if this didn't happen at the airport, why does it matter?
Right.
Yeah.
But I think he pointed out in a very easy way to understand why it does matter, and it's really just that airspace above the airport.
They're monitoring both those airports. All right, I want to thank you.
Thanks, Julie.
All right, Julie Martin with us right now. And on the phone right now, we have an airline passenger, and her name, Cassandra Dumped. I figure right now you're feeling pretty dumped right now as you are stuck right now at Midway Airport, and you're trying to get over to O'Hare.
I know, Cassandra, we've been talking to many authorities about this situation, but it's so good to have you, just a regular passenger like we would be, to give us your perspective on what's going on and what you are experiencing. And actually, how do you feel about all of this?
You know, I think we're all at the point that we're just trying to find solutions to the problem. You know, there's nothing we can do, and we're all in it together. So I have been up since 3 a.m. Central, and I'm just trying to get to New York.
Any idea what they're telling you right now? When you left for O'Hare, did they give you an idea? Well, maybe you might be able to get on a flight at this time or when, you know?
So I actually rebooked with a different airline for a 3:40 flight that's still confirmed to leave. My thought is that O'Hare will be put back en route before Midway because it's a busier airport.
Yeah.
Okay, your initial flight out was from Chicago Midway or O'Hare?
Midway.
From Midway, and I made the decision to go to O'Hare.
Okay, and what time this morning were you supposed to fly out of Midway?
6 a.m. on the plane and pushed back from the gate and everything.
And you know, and you said you have a confirmed flight today at 3:45 going out of O'Hare, but you know, you still got to wonder too. You are confirmed, but you know what happens a lot of times when people have flights earlier on, or maybe they have those higher status, and sometimes there may be that threat you might get bumped again. And so hopefully, Cassandra Dump, things work out for you and you are able to get back into the air. It doesn't seem like we have a rhyme or reason how you know the flights that are taking out are being selected to be taking off.
Are frustrations running high, Cassandra, or is everyone as calm as you are?
I feel like everyone's been pretty calm. I mean, everyone's kind of in the same situation, and I think everyone was really appreciative of the airline, you know, executives telling us when they didn't know the answers to questions. If you asked them something they didn't know, they would say, I don't know. And I'd much rather do that than hear something that's false.
All right, Cassandra, well, we certainly hope you make it to New York City sometime this evening, sooner than later, and hopefully you can call us back and let us know that you made it there safely.
Yeah, that's right. You know, everybody's probably thinking, oh, they probably wouldn't have blamed the weather for the first thinking of, you know, what's going on.
Nope. Can't do it.
Stay with us.
Currently in our area, 78 degrees under cloudy skies. Today, variable clouds with scattered thunderstorms. High 85. Chance of rain 40%. Tonight, thunderstorms early, low 78. Chance of rain 40%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
If you have moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis like me, and you're talking to your rheumatologist about a biologic, this is Humira. This is Humira helping to relieve my pain. This is Humira helping me lay the groundwork. This is Humira helping to protect my joints from further damage. Doctors have been prescribing Humira for 10 years. Humira works by targeting and helping to block a specific source of inflammation that contributes to RA symptoms. Humira is proven to help relieve pain and stop further joint damage in many adults.
Humira can lower your ability to fight infections, including tuberculosis. Serious, sometimes fatal infections and cancers, including lymphoma, have happened, as have blood, liver, and nervous system problems, serious allergic reactions, and new or worsening heart failure. Before treatment, get tested for TB. Tell your doctor if you've been to areas where certain fungal infections are common, and if you've had TB, hepatitis B, are prone to infections, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Don't start Humira if you have an infection.
Take the next step. Talk to your doctor and visit Humira.com. This is Humira at work.
I have a cold. I took NyQuil, but I'm still stuffed up.
NyQuil Cold and Flu liquid gels don't unstuff your nose.
Really?
Alka-Seltzer Plus Night rushes relief to 8 symptoms of a full-blown cold, including your stuffy nose.
Oh, what a relief it is. Thanks.
Anytime.
This is the year to leave the ordinary behind and keep the promises you made to yourself. Take a leap of faith and have a little adventure. Stop dreaming and start doing. This is the year, and Alaska is the place. Begin your adventure at AlaskaBeyondYourDreams.com.
From residential to commercial, from large loss to emergency response. Whenever damage strikes, call on the cleanup team that's faster to any size disaster at 1-800-SERVPRO, like it never even happened.
Is your back acting up again? Is lower back pain a daily drain? If you're one of the millions who suffer from the agony of lower back pain, you need Be Active, the revolutionary new acupressure system that instantly helps ease discomfort in your lower back, buttocks, and legs. Watch. Just slip on Be Active and tighten the strap. You'll instantly begin experiencing relief. Look, back pain often radiates from the lower back to your lower extremities, but apply Be Active to the trigger point on the calf muscle to instantly relieve pain. The secret is the AcuPoint pressure pad that gently compresses, alleviating pain at the sciatic nerve and lower back for instant relief.
I just slide it on, I tighten the strap, I feel the pressure point right behind my knee, and right away I feel the release of pain in my lower back.
Be Active provides firm pressure behind the knee on the specific pressure point, which can help relieve the pain and suffering from sciatica.
Wow, that's I can feel comfort already.
It's like right away relief.
I just put it on, but I can feel it already easing the pain.
But now I don't feel the pain at all. This is really something. You can't see the relief? I can feel it.
It kind of feels like it's relaxing that muscle.
I definitely wish I found this a couple months ago.
Be Active gives you the ability to instantly be active again. Wear it while exercising. Keep up with the kids. It's invisible under clothing, comfortable enough to sleep in. Be Active easily adjusts to fit any leg so everyone can live pain-free. Be Active is always there to deliver the pain relief you need. Now start living pain-free with the acupressure point therapy of Be Active for just $19.99. But wait, call now and we'll double the offer free. Just pay separate processing. If you don't begin to get instant relief, send it back and owe nothing. You get it all for just $19.99. So call or click now.
To order, call 1-800-370-7747. That's 1-800-370-7747 or go online to beactivebrace.com. Call or click today.
All right, we want to keep you updated on the story that developed this morning in the wee hours. We were talking about airport delays in Chicago, but it has been a ripple effect now with over some 600 flights delayed and even canceled across the country because of a fire that took place that was actually started in the basement of an airport air traffic control center in suburban Chicago. And that, of course, stopped all flights into, out of, through the Chicago, O'Hare and Midway airports. Slowly but surely the flights are starting to resume, but again that snowball effect has already occurred and we still have delays at the airports across the country.
And what you're looking at right now is that flight tracker blue indicates actually outbound flights and red inbound, so not a lot happening there. But we want to talk about Chicago and the weather forecast. The one good news is weather is not going to be a problem for the Chicago area. And earlier travel expert Mark Murphy spoke with the AMHQ team about what the airlines are expected to do with all these stranded passengers.
The first thing you could have done was book with a travel agent, and that travel agent would have already been going through the process of getting you either rebooked if you were on a connection or making sure you were on one of the first flights out, if at all possible, as opposed to having you stand in line like everybody else that did it themselves. And I think that's an important distinction out of the gate. The second thing is the airlines, when it's outside of their control, something like this, they have no obligation to accommodate you or to compensate you. Their only obligation is to get you on the road on the next available plane. And that could be, because of the domino effect, further down the line. You may be waiting all day, maybe even into tomorrow, because a small delay can lead to massive delays across the airline system.
All right, so Mark, I mean, you mentioned that, you know, book with a travel agent, and a travel agent could have been working with you, but quite honestly, you know the business very well, and very few people are booking with travel agents now. It's easier for me to just book online.
I got to correct you. 40% of domestic airline tickets and 60% of international airline tickets are booked by travel agents.
40% certainly isn't the majority. So what do I do if I'm standing in the airport and I mean, just help me. Tell me what to do. If I booked it online, what am I supposed to do now?
You are standing in line with everybody else. I would have my phone up to my ear, calling the reservations folks, trying to get online there, not just standing in line 100 deep. And I would find out what my next available flights are. I would certainly be looking online at what those next available flights are. And I may think about doing a different routing, which the airlines would be more than happy to not hit you with the change fee, but they may still hit you with a difference in fare. So it may cost you a lot more unless you stay on that normal route. Each airline has its own policies. So those airlines are going to decide individually how they're going to get you on the way and whether they're going to hit you with fees, difference in fares if you wish to change your routing.
All right, and let me ask you this. So let's say that I want to approach the desk with some kind of authority. Does it help if if I have a mile card with them? Does it help if I have status on the plane in a situation like this? Or is everybody at a situation like this just basically showing up equal to the desk?
You're not equal. So in other words, if you're at the chairman level or the platinum level, one of these high flyers, guys that fly for business every week, you're the most valuable customer, not the person who travels once a year in the back of the plane. So you are going to get priority. You are probably going to get rerouted. You already have a different phone number that you can call that the average customer can't call. So there's absolutely a priority when it comes to that. And you will be first in line to get moved. And in some cases, you've automatically been rebooked by the airlines through the process to get you on your way.
Either way it goes, I'm sure many people are frustrated at the airports. They can't get out of one airport to the other, and their flights are just delayed, and many canceled and having to reroute. It's surely a lot of frustration.
Yeah, and we talked to a passenger earlier, Cassandra Dump, and despite that, she seems to be quite calm. She says people seem to be taking this pretty calmly. We'll have more coming up in just a short while. Stay with us.
Lowe's presents how to make your guests think they're at the wrong house.
Wow. Told you we're in the wrong house.
Go. Mom!
Pergo Max Laminate Flooring, now just $249 per square foot.
Don't let back pain limit your life. I'm Erlene Mandrell, the Mandrell Sisters, and I'd like to share a solution with you.
Get the DDS 500 with no out-of-pocket cost to you with Medicare and other major insurances. The only patented back support that provides adjustable traction. The DDS 500 adjusts to your comfort level and fits discreetly under clothes.
So what are you waiting for? Call Allied Home Medical now. 1-800-230-6099.
Every Sunday, a new tale of weather legend. American Supernatural, premiering October 5th on the Weather Channel.
Let's get weather geeky this morning. I'm going to kind of walk you through the life cycle steps of a tornado, including what first begins as a funnel cloud. As it gets organized, that funnel comes all the way down to the ground. You often then see debris. Look at the shape it takes on, very cylindrical. Then gradually dissipates. Crazy stuff.
Currently in our area, 78 degrees under cloudy skies. Today, variable clouds with scattered thunderstorms. High 85. Chance of rain 40%. Tonight, thunderstorms early. Low 78. Chance of rain 40%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Andrew, Rita, Sandy. Meet Chris, Jackie, Joe. Minor damage or major disaster. When you need us most, we're there. State Farm. We're a force of nature, too.
Sometimes the best used car on the road is the one you're still using. Right now, get $50 off a standard brake service, including a lifetime parts guarantee at Firestone Complete Auto Care. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
All right, we got one shot. Let's go twins right, 24 stretch.
24 stretch, all diamond.
Twins right, 24 stretch. All diamonds on two.
When the game's on the line.
Hit him with a hard count. See if they'll tip their hand.
The NFL trusts Duracell Quantum to power their game day communication.
They're blitzing up the gut. Get out of the pocket.
Duracell Quantum lasts up to 35% longer than the competition.
Hey, how was work?
Great.
You need to just cut it down.
What's the status?
Network's up 100%.
Hi, how was your weekend?
It was great.
In the Army Reserve, all it takes is 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks a year to get the skills, training, and strength of being in the Army.
At Ancestry, we call it a hint. Simply type in a name and follow the Ancestry leaf far into your family's past. A past filled with stories that intrigue and inspire. And in doing so, reveal the one unique, improbable, and completely remarkable path.
Now with the Xfinity TV Go app, you can watch live TV anytime. It's never been easier with so many networks all in one place. Get live TV whenever you want. The Xfinity TV Go app, now with live TV on the go. Enjoy over Wi-Fi or on Verizon Wireless 4G LTE. Plus, now you get up to a $100 prepaid card when you purchase any new Verizon Wireless smartphone or tablet from Comcast. Visit Comcast.com/wireless to learn more.
Get luxury for less at Alpacker Lincoln. Enjoy incredible savings on Lincoln's best-selling models, like the all-new 2015 Lincoln MKC, just $319 a month, or a new 2014 Lincoln MKX, just $399 a month. Enjoy luxury for less with bottom line windshield pricing. Only at Alpacker Lincoln on Military Trail. And remember,
before you buy, Price Packer.
Call the number on your screen right now to immediately receive a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost.
The wildest weather ever caught on camera.
Oh my God!
Tonight, tomorrow night, every weeknight. Wild weather at 8 on the Weather Channel.
Well, if you're just tuning in, we've been talking all morning about the airport reports now. In Chicago, at the Air Traffic Control Center in suburban Chicago, all flights were delayed and some were canceled because of a fire that was started in a basement by perhaps a man that was also found in the basement with inflicted wounds, self-inflicted wounds. But nonetheless, they had to shut down the airport for the most part and cancel a lot of flights, and that has led to a ripple effect on other airports across the country. You're looking now at Minneapolis because even here too now we're talking about delays and cancellations of many of the flights.
Yeah, and we're going to see more of this popping up as we go throughout the day, certainly with the Chicago airport grounding there. And we want to find out a bit more about this, and we turn now to Phil LeBeau. He's on the phone with us right now. He is an aviation industry correspondent for CNBC. Tell us, what have you found out that's going on and causing, more with the Chicago grounding situation? And, why are some people lucky enough to take off, but others aren't?
Well, that's a matter of whether or not they believe that with the patchwork system that they've put together, that they can handle that flight, that particular flight. And it's very limited what assistance they are getting here at the Air Traffic Control Center in Chicago, coming from some of the other air traffic control centers in the Midwest. And so you can't handle the same volume of flights. You can't even handle a fraction of those flights. And that's why there are a few, and I should point out, very few flights that are leaving. Those people who are here, like myself, scheduled to go on a trip, a lot of us are waiting. And for the most part, trying to ride this out and not get frustrated, but it's been a long morning to say the least.
So, Phil, are you saying that if I'm in Minneapolis at the airport right now and say I'm going to Dallas, I cannot fly out to Dallas because of the problems in Chicago?
No. I mean, Minneapolis has an air traffic control center, as does Indianapolis.
Okay.
What's going on right now is assistance for the Chicago flights is coming from those centers. So they've got their own flights in addition to assisting care. And you also have to remember, this is a huge spider web of planes. So a flight that's canceled out of Indianapolis or out of Kansas City or out of Minneapolis, it may be because that plane is sitting parked at a gate here. Can't get out here, can't get there. And if it can't get there, it can't go on to its next destination.
Yeah.
All right.
Gotcha.
And Phil LeBeau, you said you're there. You are in Chicago right now. I'm
in the airport.
You're in the airport right now. Tell us, you're there. You have a perspective. What are you seeing out there? Are people calm? Are they getting frustrated? And were you able to book another flight? Tell us a bit more about your personal situation.
Well, I have an early afternoon flight. So, I mean, as of right now, we're still scheduled to go out. So we're riding it out and waiting a little bit here. So, look, what you're seeing here is no different than what you would see if it was a storm. You see a lot of people who are kind of standing around. I think the frustration level is no different than it is if you have a major winter storm that comes through and cancels a lot of flights. People aren't happy about it, but at the same point, they realize, look, there's not much I can do. This is not a case of I'm with a bad airline and the airline could make the flight, but it's not. I mean, the system is essentially crippled. And as frustrated as people are, they're just kind of riding it out as best they can.
And I know many people are probably, like I would feel, be happy that they're not flying if the weather was so bad. And certainly they have to get the latest information to find out that everything is clear before they take off again. So I'm sure many people are pretty happy about that. So that lowers the frustration level as well, right?
Oh, I'm sure that's a huge but look, you walk by the customer service counter and you're in the B terminal or Terminal 1, the B concourse. It's a long line, and it's going to be a long line all day and all night because there are a lot of people who are on flights that have been canceled.
I think one of the things that people need to do, Phil LeBeau, is maybe just go ahead and plan a day in Chicago and just wait it out, because at least you've got nice weather there to enjoy the situation if you are going to be stuck somewhere. Well, right now we want to go over and look at our flight tracker, and the flight tracker really kind of tells the story. Chicago, keep in mind, O'Hare, one of the busiest airports in the world, and look at this. These are all the flights, and not many going in in or out of either Midway or O'Hare. We'll be right back.
Currently in our area, 78 degrees under cloudy skies. Today, variable clouds with scattered thunderstorms. High 85. Chance of rain 40%. Tonight, thunderstorms early. Low 78. Chance of rain 40%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Skies. Well, sort of a developing story out of Chicago. Planes are now taking off. This is after fire activity forces a ground stop at O'Hare and Midway airports, and thousands of travelers are now stranded.
In fact, here's a look at the chaotic scene just hours ago. The fire breaking out at a radar facility in Aurora, Illinois. Now, reports say a man with self-inflicted wounds was found in the basement. And that prompted the Federal Aviation Administration to say all planes in the United States destined to cross the Midwest would not be allowed to depart until 10 a.m.
And that has meant hours of delay. Now, keep in mind, this all started about 5:30 this morning. And now airports around the nation are feeling the impacts. We just showed you views coming out of Minneapolis, and this is what many people are going to be doing today, standing in line at the airport. And just as a beautiful weekend is setting up for many of us, and this could be the last taste of summer, well, we're going to continue following this Chicago airport ground stopping, but you are watching Weather Center Live on the Weather Channel.
And we thank you so much for joining us here on Weather Center Live. I'm Vivian Brown.
And I'm Jennifer Delgado. And let's get right to the latest with the flight information. For that, we bring in our own Julie Martin. She joins us now. And Julie, you are from the Chicago area, and you have insight, because you are a native of that area, of the situation that's going on between O'Hare, Midway, and how Aurora is causing this ripple effect.
Well, you can't help but compare this to a winter storm and think,
the impact.
You know, you see the people sleeping on cots. It tends to happen about once or twice a winter, and really just stranded with nowhere to go. But that's a different situation, because that is weather related, whereas in this case, Mother Nature is not going to be able to help out here. In fact, clear skies in and around the Chicago area. That begs the question then, what rights exactly do passengers have? Right now, you're looking at what is happening in the air. Not a whole lot of action there on Flight Tracker. In fact, very few, a handful of flights being allowed to leave Chicago's O'Hare and Midway airports as we speak. And we are expecting, according to our aviation experts, this to be a very slow process throughout the day. Keep in mind, we're not just talking about these two airports, but they have to coordinate between all of the other air traffic control centers in the vicinity in terms of those flights that are coming or going in or out of Chicago. Right now, let's talk about passenger rights, though, with Mark Murphy. He is a travel expert who also wrote the book Travel Unscripted. And Mark, I know in 2011 the Passenger Bill of Rights was beefed up a bit to help people who were, say, stranded on the tarmac for certain lengths of time or for lost baggage. But what about this territory? Are there any rights at all that someone would have?
Well, no, not really. I mean, the airlines are going to try to accommodate you as best as possible. This is outside of their control, so it's really just a matter of you just being patient and realizing there's nothing you can do about it. You're going to get on your way at some point, and like you've mentioned in your previous guest, there's a ripple effect. So it doesn't just affect passengers at O'Hare. This could very well affect passengers at JFK, passengers in London. I mean, you name it, because we have a global network of these airlines, and O'Hare is a major global hub. So this is going to have a ripple effect that's going to be felt for, in many cases, several days.
One thing that stands out to me, and frankly, I haven't had a chance to check all of the airline websites, but normally when we know a storm is coming, the airlines tend to get a sense of that. They may offer those waivers of change fees. I went to a couple of the major carriers. I haven't seen anything on their websites at this point. Have you?
I have not, and it's up to each airline whether they want to waive fees, whether they're going to allow you to change your, let's say, change your routing. If you get on a flight through Dallas now to end up in New Orleans, are they going to allow you to do that? Or are they going to want to charge you a difference in fare? And that's what you have to look at. And each airline is unique. And I always recommend people use a travel agent because that travel agent would have been working on your behalf for the last several hours to try to get you out of there sooner, or maybe even have you drive up to Milwaukee to fly out of Milwaukee, rent you a car, get you up there, and get you on your way, depending on where you need to be. So it really comes down to the individual traveler, how they booked, what the airline they booked with, and then how that airline's going to handle them. And it's outside of their control, this type of thing. So therefore, they're not financially obligated in any way.
That's not the news thousands of people want to hear, Mark. What would you suggest their best plan of recourse is if they're stuck in O'Hare Midway right now, sitting in the airport on their phones, frantically trying to rebook? You know, what's the best bet? Do you call the airlines directly?
I would take a deep breath, get into a Zen moment, and go enjoy my hometown of Chicago, where I was born. But if you can't do that, then what I would suggest you do is obviously talk to the airlines, try to figure out how you can get rerouted, find out if they can book you out of an alternative airport that you can drive to. I just mentioned Milwaukee being one of those. But my guess is as they're rolling this back out, you're going to be just fine. You may end up spending an extra day in Chicago, but that could be the worst of it for the travelers that are currently stranded.
I mean, I guess it might be a good idea to save your receipts if you are paying for hotels or whatever transportation, just in case.
You save your receipts, but the airlines aren't going to be reimbursing you unless they want to do it out of the goodness of their heart. So let's just see how that goes. What do you think?
Gosh, I think I'm with you, Mark. I think I'd head down to Michigan Avenue if I were stranded at either of those airports right now. Mark Murphy, our travel expert, wrote the book Travel Unscripted. Thanks for your perspective. Unfortunately, not the news passengers would like to hear. They're basically stuck right now, and the airlines are not responsible. Again, a fire that broke out in Aurora this morning at an air traffic control facility about 5:40. More than 1,000 flights canceled at Chicago's airports. A man discovered with a self-inflicted wound in the basement of that facility, and about 30 people evacuated. Right now, very few flights are leaving Chicago, and the airlines are expecting, ladies, it could be not just today, but this certainly carrying on through the weekend as well. So, as Mark mentioned, maybe come up with a plan B.
Right.
Go do some sightseeing.
It's time to go have a pizza off. You go a couple different thick crust pizzas, grab some hot dogs.
At least the weather is nice in Chicago today.
The weather's nice. You could go walk along Michigan Avenue and keep those receipts maybe as a memory of a day that you weren't getting out of the sky.
I mean, more than nice, the weather today. It is perfect in my opinion.
I think it's better when there's a weather issue. At least you can blame it on the weather. In this case, you don't have Mother Nature to blame, so you're just kind of stuck.
But you can kind of just enjoy Mother Nature's splendor today. So beautiful conditions. Temperatures in the middle 70s for highs today. Already it's about 71 degrees in the Chicago area. So absolutely gorgeous. I hope you are able to get out and enjoy Mother Nature's splendor. Been the fact that we cannot fly out of the city anyway. So just get out and enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we do know now that thousands of flights have been canceled. We're hearing reportedly about 1,500 flights. This is after a Chicago airport grounding. This comes after a fire and the Aurora Airport radar facility, and now this is having a major ripple effect on O'Hare as well as Chicago. And O'Hare, of course, the busiest airport in the world. Well, it's going to have a big problem today.
Sometimes healthy's not on the menu. Luckily, I always keep my MetaHealth bars handy. It's my favorite bar, hands down.
From the makers of Metamucil, new multi-health MetaHealth bars have natural psyllium fiber that helps promote heart health with a taste consumers prefer.
Would you like one of these instead?
Yummy. Thanks. Experience the Meta effect with our new multi-health wellness line and see how one small change can lead to good things.
Sir, we're going to need you on the runway.
Theraflu starts to get to work in your body in just 5 minutes. Theraflu breaks you free from your worst cold and flu symptoms. Theraflu, serious power.
Embrace your inner athlete and share your team spirit with football gear for your pet at PetSmart. Now save 20% on NFL jerseys, collars, and leashes. Only at PetSmart.
Mondays, only the Weather Channel takes you this far.
inside a hurricane.
Just total chaos.
If you think you've seen it all, look again.
You've got to be kidding me.
A new original series, Hurricane 360, Mondays at 9, only on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 78 degrees under cloudy skies. Today, variable clouds with scattered thunderstorms. High 85. Chance of rain 40%. Tonight, thunderstorms early. Low 78. Chance of rain 40%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
On AMHQ.
Let's get you in front of today's weather.
The biggest weather hour anywhere.
What a gorgeous start.
Weekday mornings on the Weather Channel.
Awesome! I've been Claritin Clear for 8 days.
At the first sign of your allergies, doctors recommend taking one Claritin every day of your allergy season for continuous relief.
21 days. 14 days of continuous relief.
Live Claritin Clear every day.
Get relief with Claritin. Live Claritin Clear.
Lowe's presents how to install a new washing machine with one finger.
Maybe a little more that way.
Nice.
Now get up to 25% off select major appliances at Lowe's.
Sure wish you guys would bring layaway back.
Actually,
that way I can split my payments up into like little bite-sized chunks. Yeah, I mean, you feel me, right?
Yeah. Sir?
Oh.
Layaway is back, and it's free. Save money, live better. Walmart.
You smell the cheese in the air?
I do. I thought there was a lot of cheese on the Cheesy Pub chicken sandwich, but you clearly went all out here.
Well, 'tis the cheesin', my friend. If not now, then when?
Yeah,
you know?
Well, maybe never, but...
In case I haven't already said it, Cheesin's greetings.
You said it 3 times already, but thank you. I'll take it again, yes.
Okay, gotcha. Doesn't get cheddar than this.
Cheese it up with the Cheesy Pub chicken sandwich and save room for creamy cheesecake bites. This is how you Sonic.
Okay. And we are continuing to follow developing news out of Chicago. Flights are now resuming at a reduced rate, not as fast as what people would like to see, but not everybody is going to get out of Chicago, but some people will.
Yeah, but this is after an FAA Air Control Center at suburban Chicago, the air traffic control facility, caught fire. Now, reports say a man with self-inflicted wounds was found in the basement where the fire started. That prompted the Federal Aviation Administration to say all planes in the United States destined to cross the Midwest would not be allowed to depart until 10 o'clock this morning.
That's right. And again, the fire started at the Aurora facility, which is about 50 miles away from O'Hare as well as Midway, and certainly having that ripple effect. As we look at O'Hare, you can't blame Mother Nature for this. The weather is absolutely beautiful out there, and I think that's the difference between, you know, the tempers, and people are saying that people are calm there because, you know, they know it's not the weather, so they can't get mad at us or what's going on with snow and wind. And of course, we want to talk more about this. And
in fact, we have some people outside of the airport just enjoying Mother Nature. So at least it's a good thing that they can stand outside. It's not too cold. It's not wet. So this does help to temper the tempers as well, I'm sure.
That's right. And we want to bring in our next guest. His name is Ryan Burrow. He is actually with WLS, and he is at O'Hare Airport, and you work for AM station there, so you have insight there because you're there, you see what's going on the ground. What have you been able to find out? I know it's the journalist, and you got to do a little digging.
Yeah, I've talked to quite a few people here, and like you mentioned, because it is a Friday, a lot of these people are making recreational trips instead of business trips. It's a little bit calmer than, say, you know, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, but you know, a lot of people are kicked off though because they showed up here at 3 o'clock. It's going to be a gorgeous day, as you mentioned, and they've been sitting here for, you know, 6, 7, 8 hours, and they're unsure if they're going to be able to get a connecting flight or get out of here.
and Ryan Burrow. And then you said you kind of compared this to what's going on, like what you see on Thanksgiving. There's just so many people standing around trying to get to their destinations. And have you actually been, you know, seeing people kind of leaving Midway and going to O'Hare, or are most people kind of sticking it out there?
Yeah, you can't really switch between the two right now because the airspace at both locations has been halted. I can tell you that already Southwest Airlines has announced that they will not be there will not be any departing flights out of Midway until 7 o'clock this evening. So a lot of people who live in the Chicago area who drove here to try to get a flight out just decided to forget it and headed home, and they're going to try to figure it out either later today or tomorrow. But for those people with connecting flights or maybe who spent the night here and are trying to get to another destination, they're kind of out of luck.
Well, one good thing about it is that no bags have been already gone to a different city, so that is good, and people are able to keep their bags with them. But have you spoken with any of the people there? I mean, are they saying that they're kind of happy that we're putting safety first instead of just trying to get back out there and get the flights back going?
No, a lot of people just want to get on their flight. I did talk with a lot of them to find out, you know, how is it that you found out what was going on? A lot of them knew about the facility in Aurora. A lot of them understood what was happening and why it was happening. None of them seemed too angry about that. But on the other hand, you know, they'd like to get to their destination. So, and a lot of people found out not necessarily through the airline, but on their smartphone.
Oh, not through the airline, but on their smartphone. That's peculiar.
All right.
All right, thank you very much, Ryan. Of course, we'll keep you updated on this story as the day progresses.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Everybody knows that, Parker.
Well, did you know auctioneers make bad grocery store clerks?
It'll be $23.50. Now 75, 23.75 on them. Hey, to get down 23.75 and 24. Hey, $24, 24 and a quarter. Now half, 24 and a half and 75 and 25. Now a quarter. Hey, 26 and a quarter. Don't them. Hey, to get down 20. You want to do it? 5 and a quarter. Sold to the man in the khaki jacket.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Maybe you didn't know, people with the flu can spread it up to 6 feet away. Or that flu can make chronic conditions worse. Or that experts say anyone who lives or works with infants should be vaccinated. Maybe you didn't know all the stuff your Rite Aid pharmacist knew the whole time. But maybe, since you already went and got your flu shot at Rite Aid without hassle or appointment, maybe you didn't need to know any of that. Rite Aid. With us, it's personal.
Attention homeowners. Quicken Loans has some very important information regarding the U.S. government's Home Affordable Refinance Program, or HARP. Nearly 3 million homeowners have already taken advantage of this fantastic money-saving program. But there are so many more of you who could be saving hundreds of dollars every month on your mortgage. Quicken Loans is here to help you save money. Why Quicken Loans? The home loan experts at Quicken Loans fully understand the HARP guidelines. We'll work with you to understand your specific circumstances and strive to find the financial solution that's best for you. Then we'll guide you through each step of the mortgage refinance process to make sure that it's both simple and easy. If you weren't HARP eligible in the past, new guidelines could mean that now you are. Give us a call and we'll give you a Quicken Loans mortgage review. It's simple and easy. To learn more about this money-saving U.S. government program, call Quicken Loans today or go to quickenloans.com for a mortgage experience that's engineered to amaze.
You may not be a prepper now, but you will be. Whether the next disaster is man-made or wrought by Mother Nature, you need a plan. WiseFoodStorage.com's emergency gourmet meals are made in the USA, delicious, easy to prepare, just add water, and packaged and proportioned perfectly, eliminating waste and creating a shelf life of up to 25 years. Why face your next emergency on an empty stomach? Request your free sample today at WiseFoodStorage.com.
Whoa.
Hey, people are talking about Fat Guys in the Woods.
I mean, no joke, man.
Well, that is really cool. The Weather Channel's hit survival series. This Sunday, come see why the buzz.
From the very minute you have this idea that you want to be in business, you need to have that card.
Presentation is everything because they're not only first impression of you, but now you're handing them this product that really is kind of going to define your business in their mind pretty quickly.
You want a very thick card that feels nice in your client's hand.
I think it's nice to have a choice because sometimes you want a glossy card, but for other projects, I don't necessarily want all that.
Your business card is a reflection of you. It should say exactly what you want. With a range of design, stock, and finish options at Vistaprint, it will. Get 500 business cards starting at just $9.99. Just enter promo code TV500 at Vistaprint.com.
That business card, when I make a connection with someone, has to be phenomenal. It has to be elegant and invoke all the things that Diamond stands for.
Just that professionalism is going to make you, as a business owner, more successful just right off the bat.
Vistaprint.com.
You anywhere in the United States. We'll even give you a loaner to use if necessary. So call right now.
Sunday night, the Weather Channel asks, so you think you'd survive black ice? So you think you'd survive? Sunday night at 9 on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 80 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Today, thunderstorms, high 84. Chance of rain, 80%. Tonight, thunderstorms early, low 78. Chance of rain, 40%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Well, thousands of travelers are stranded in Chicago right now after a fire at an air traffic control facility shut down flights this morning. Now, the fire started in the basement where authorities also found a man with self-inflicted wounds. We don't know if these two incidents are related, but the fire caused a complete stop of flights in and out of Chicago's 2 airports, causing nearly 600 cancellations across the country. Here's a look at the current flight delays across the country. And again, almost every airport is impacted because of the ripple effect from the flights being canceled out of Chicago. And folks are outside of the airport right now in Chicago, as you saw. At least the weather is beautiful. Temperatures in the low 70s, lots and lots of sunshine. So that's perhaps some light at the end of the tunnel with the delays that we have at the airports. But you can see major delays in Chicago, Midway, O'Hare, even back to Minneapolis. We've had reports that the imparting or the flights coming in and outgoing of the Chicago area, if they're going through the Midwest, through Chicago and through Minneapolis, and they have been impacted as well. But the weather again is beautiful today in the area. Temperatures in the middle 60s for highs right now, pretty much in the low 70s, but mid 70s by the afternoon. So gorgeous conditions. It's all compliments of an area of high pressure that's building over the region, and the overall regional forecast throughout the day looking great. And even tonight, with temperatures cooling off to the low 60s across the region, just a beautiful day today and overnight tonight. So once everything finally, I'm sure they will eventually, slowly but surely, the air flights or the flights will be back working normal capacity. So we will keep you updated, of course, throughout the day. Back to you, Jim.
Yeah, it's a bit exhausting out there. Of course, we'll continue to cover that Chicago ground flight stoppage. Now, working in the wake of a devastating hurricane and tropical storms, well, the First Response Team of America has definitely faced some harrowing moments. But for founder Tad Agolia, the risk is always worth the reward. Mike Bettis, our meteorologist here, has more.
In the 7 years the First Response Team of America has been helping communities hit hard by severe weather, its founder, Tad Agolia, has learned one invaluable lesson.
Every single storm is different, not only the size of the storm, but how it affects a community. There's always something memorable about each storm that just sticks with us.
Some of those memories have been forged performing rescue missions in raging winds and rampant floodwaters of tropical storms and hurricanes. The team is well aware that working in this hazardous mix of elements can be deadly.
We're willing to be out there to risk our lives if we could save a life.
And that's what happened on 2 occasions in 2012. In June, rising floodwaters from Tropical Storm Debbie cut off homes in Live Oak, Florida, stranding a mother and her seriously sick baby. Evacuating on board the team's hovercraft to a waiting ambulance was a matter of life and death.
We need to get this young boy, get him in our hovercraft, and get into the ambulance so we can get to the hospital. Launching a hovercraft into the darkness, into floodwaters that we can't even see ourselves. It's a very challenging situation. These guys here will take care of you. Being in moments like that really put life in perspective for me. You begin to realize and remember just how fragile life can be.
4 months later, as Superstorm Sandy raged on Long Island, the team deployed to escort an ambulance carrying a young woman in labor to the hospital through debris-littered streets.
Every time this ambulance hits a roadblock, we're going to pull our saws out and cut a way through. As soon as we were able to help the mother in labor get to the hospital, it wasn't shortly thereafter that she gave birth to a beautiful boy.
You have no idea what a relief this was, knowing that you guys were with us the whole way.
While emotionally rewarding, such moments have provided the team with something more important than sentimental memories.
The experiences that we've had make us better and make us able to respond to the next disaster and help a community in a significant way.
And to learn more about Tattaglia and the First Response Team of America, go to weather.com/responders. And of course, we'll continue to follow the situation that is going on in Chicago with so many flights there also right now. Just people just stranded there at the airport.
Stranded at the airport from earlier this morning. Of course, a fire in the basement at the facility, the air traffic facility in Aurora, which is the radar facility, but it acts as a air traffic controller, of course, to O'Hare and Midway Airport. Right now, again, folks are stranded, but at least they're stranded in beautiful weather in the Chicago area with temperatures in the 70s and lots of sunshine.
This program powered by Ram Trucks. Guts, glory, Ram.
West didn't end where Columbus landed. Not on the banks of the Mississippi or even the coast of California. The new Ram 1500 EcoDiesel with 9,200 pounds of towing and 28 highway miles per gallon. West will never end. Guts, glory, Ram.
Presenting luxurious savings at Ace. What? Save $7 instantly now through Sunday on gallons of Valspar Optimus, our most premium paint.
Ace is a place to help the hardware folks.
Okay, Patrick, one more stop. Let's go base, shark, blitz. Base, shark, blitz.
When the game's on the line.
Okay, this is for the game.
The NFL trusts Duracell Quantum to power their game day communication.
Plug like this, on. Abort, he's keeping it.
Duracell Quantum lasts up to 35% longer than the competition.
You know, millions of people have saved with Progressive, so I get invited to quite a few family gatherings. Heck, I saved Judith here a fortune with discounts like Safe Driver, Multi-Car, Paperless. You make a mighty fine Mrs. Milady. I'm not saying Mark's thrifty. Let's just say I saved him $519, and it certainly didn't go toward that ring. Am I right? So visit Progressive.com today. I call this one the Robot.
Support both mental sharpness and physical energy with Berocca, proud sponsor of Mind and Body.
Sir, we're going to need you on the runway.
Theraflu starts to get to work in your body in just 5 minutes. Theraflu breaks you free from your worst cold and flu symptoms. Theraflu, serious power.
This Halloween calls for untamed fruit flavor. Jolly Rancher.
Lowe's presents How to Work Out the Triceps.
Wow. Impress your guests. Delise Vanity, now just $2.29 at Lowe's.
to want to watch 7 a.m. on AMHQ.
This is a big weather morning.
The biggest weather hour anywhere. What you watch in the morning matters.
Is your weather geeky this morning?
Make AMHQ your morning show. America's morning headquarters. Weekday mornings starting live at 7 Eastern on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 80 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Today, thunderstorms, high 84. Chance of rain, 80%. Tonight, thunderstorms early, low 78. Chance of rain, 40%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Every Sunday, a new tale of weather legend. American Supernatural, premiering October 5th on the Weather Channel.
And back in the skies, well, sort of, right now. This comes after a developing story